Wario Land II released in March of 1998. This game features our nominal hero, Wario, once again facing off against his nemesis, Captain Syrup of the Black Sugar Gang, in defense of the treasure that he has rightfully stolen. While the game originally released on the Game Boy, it was later given a revision on the Game Boy Color, which will be the version that I'm using today. Also, most of the footage for today comes from LP Master 6, and I'll link the first episode of his playthrough in the iCards. The game opens with Wario sleeping peacefully in his castle. Likely, this is the same castle as we see in Wario Land 1's ending. If you haven't seen my video on that game, by the way, I suggest doing so, as this game is a direct follow-up to that one. During his slumber, the castle is attacked by the Black Sugar Gang, the same band of pirates he'd fought on the previous adventure. They break into his castle, steal a bunch of his treasure, flood his home, and leave a huge alarm clock ringing just to make sure he didn't sleep through the whole thing. This attack is clearly not just for the treasure, but for revenge, because... come on, that was just petty. This is so far above and beyond a simple B&E. The game then follows Wario as he chases after the pirates in an attempt to bring back what they'd stolen. It's worth noting that, in this game, Wario is immortal. This is never explained, and is also dropped completely after Wario Land 3. The closest to an explanation that we get is just that he doesn't feel like dying, which... okay, sure, I guess. I'm not sure it's how that works, but I'm not going to question Wario. Also, this game has multiple endings. 6 to be exact, and one more alternate route that meets up with the main story after it's done. The only thing that is clear is that the story listed as the really final ending, achievable only after 100%ing the entire rest of the game, is likely the true ending. That said, there isn't a path that directly leads to this ending in gameplay, so how exactly did Wario end up here? Well, this ending shows Wario, looking for more treasure, passing by the remains of Syrup Castle. This alone answers our question, as Wario only ever invades the castle in one ending, the original Chapter 5 of the game at the end of the main story. The in-game chapter map also shows the really final story coming off of Chapter 5 Story 5, which is honestly even stronger evidence than what I mentioned before. It's not really clear which of the two Chapter 3s is the canon one, but I'm going to lean on the side of the original, just because that seems to be the running theme at this point. So what about the other endings? Well, I think they're best explained by the end of the alternate Chapter 5, the Uncanny Mansion. In this story, Wario chases Captain Syrup into a haunted house, where she's kidnapped by a ghost that Wario needs to defeat before he can get his treasure back from her. And upon winning the fight, Wario awakens back at home in his own bed, where this whole story started before the pirates have even shown up. This shows that the entire ending was meant to be a dream that Wario had before the game itself begins. And if this explanation works for one of the alternate endings, then this could easily apply for all of the others as well. Something also caught me off guard in Chapter 4. In Story 2, we see Wario exploring a large building that apparently belongs to... Nintendo. Yeah, we haven't discussed it much to this point, but Nintendo as a company exists in the Mario universe. Like in real life, they make video games, including a number based on Mario's adventures. Expect to see more of them in future games, and they also tie a lot into one of my main theories about Wario, but that deserves its own video. But to also tie into that, I'd like to point to the minigame Flagman DD, which is unlocked alongside the really final chapter. This game is just a remake of the Game & Watch game Flagman, but starring a dangerous duck enemy instead of our boy Mr. Game & Watch. This is the first time that I've seen Nintendo drawing connections between Wario and the Game & Watch games, a link which becomes a huge part of the WarioWare series. I just think it's neat. So, even if you don't really see the Excitebike connection that I mentioned in my Mario Kart 64 video, then this definitely solidifies the early connection between Wario and those classic games. Now, where does this game leave us with our timeline? Obviously, this game comes out after Wario Land 1, as the game's plot hinges on Wario having angered the Black Sugar Gang. Likely, this is their first time fighting after the events of that game. Wario also still has his castle, placing this one before Wario's Woods. But, either way, the earliest we can place this is immediately after the first Wario Land game. So that's where I feel comfortable placing it for now. What do you think of that placement? Or anything else in this game for that matter? Let me know in the comments. And with that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.